3 quick Blu-rays of 4K UHDs before I go pick up the kid from school. Talked about it briefly the other night, but this movie looms so large in my life, I owe it more. The Blues Brothers, Danny Aykroyd, John Belushi, John Landis, directs with, of course, Cab Calloway, Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Matt Guitar Murphy, Alan Rubin, basically all of Booker T and the MGs. What's up, Mark? This movie was very instrumental in a lot of different ways for me, both comedically and also in terms of an introduction to blues music. A classic, 100%. And I have a fun relationship with this because every air band competition in high school, me and my buddy Tom Vandenbosch lip-synced to the Blues Brothers in our competitions. We won second place our second year when we did Jailhouse Rock. But then when I was in Australia, we would screen movies down in sort of the in this sort of anteroom at our hotel at the Avani in Gold Coast, and Blues Brothers was one of the movies that we watched one night. And Mana had never seen it, and me and Tui and Fosse and Mana watched it and screamed with laughter throughout. And it was a really memorable time watching. And the other memorable time I have is going to the Egyptian Theater in Hollywood and taking my daughter to see the Blues Brothers on the big screen. She was probably 9, probably a little young for the language, but not for the movie. She absolutely loved it. And it was just great to be able to share this movie with her. So many big laughs. Greatest car chase in history. Next one I've not gone back and watched it since I got it, but I was swept up in Bohemian Rhapsody. In particular, the Live Aid recreation sequence. It's just a tremendous film that resonated in such a different way for me than I anticipated. I didn't know anything about Queen's story. I knew a little bit about Freddie, but not to the extent that I feel needed to know. And the Live Aid recreation, it's so funny. I just watched it, and then the Academy Awards, right? I love, dude. It's the whole point of this series of reels, man, is that I've been talking about physical media for a minute, and because you can't stream everything, and when you want to stream it, that's for whatever reason, the reason you can't get your hands on it. So anyway, I got my 4Ks. I also have an equally large collection of Blu-rays, and then a couple that are, you'll notice that in the titles that I'm doing here are not any franchise titles. That's because I have a wallet of franchises. We'll talk about those later. But with Bohemian Rhapsody in particular, the live recreation of Live Aid was spectacular. I remember watching the Academy Awards, Rami Malek winning the award for Best Actor, and then within 3 days, I booked a movie called The Little Things, and I had a short scene with Rami Malek and Denzel Washington, and Rami was lovely, and yeah, it was kind of amazing. So I felt like what a fascinating impression movie, you know? Okay. Uno más, then I'll call it The Bridge Over the River Kwai. Classic David Lean film. I remember never seeing it on the big screen. It was on some cable channel thing, maybe TCM or something like that. And I was like, oh, I got to watch this. And then I kept going, oh, that's from this. Oh my God, that's from this. Oh, wow. And what hangs with me about this movie, beyond the way it's shot and the epicness of it. You haven't seen this, Mark? Bridge on the River Kwai? Or is it Bohemian Rhapsody you haven't seen? Well, this is the Bridge on the River Kwai. And Bridge on the River Kwai is with Alec Guinness, and it's about a bunch of British guys a British battalion of soldiers who are captured. Oh, Matt, I'm sorry, Mark. Matt, Bridge on the River Kwai, you should watch it, man. Yeah. A group of British military men are captured in Japan. Is it? Yeah, it has to be. And they are made to build this bridge across a river. And it's a critical bridge that needs to be built and maintained to the war effort. But the problem is, it is against the interest of Britain and the war effort for that bridge to be complete. So these men are being forced to maintain and build this bridge. And because they're British, and Alec Guinness is driving this, and I believe William Holden is in it too. Maybe that's just Stalag 17. Could be wrong. But because they're British, he's like, we don't do things half-assed. We do things correctly. So we're going to, even though we're prisoners, and this is against our interest, we are going to build this correctly and design it properly, and it will be a sound bridge because it's who we are and it's what we do. And it's the clash of the interest of who they are as men and their responsibility to Queen and country and to the war effort. And it's a brilliant anti-war film. It plays and feels like, because it is one of those big classic epic films in the league of Ben-Hur, in the league of Lawrence of Arabia. It's remarkable. And you'll hear music in it that you're like, wait, that's from Bridge on the River Kwai? No way. So definitely check it out. Tremendous film. This, I don't know if it's available in the United States. I imported this from, it looks like I imported this from Italy. Ironic. Okay. One last one. I talked about this the other night on my birthday, but I'm gonna shine a light on it one last time. Nicolas Cage's performance in Martin Scorsese's Bringing Out the Dead. It's an epicot. Oh, Paint Your Wagon. I definitely need to watch that too. Bringing Out the Dead is a 3-episode sort of piece about EMT who can't sleep, and Nicolas Cage has dark circles under his eyes the entire time, and he's teamed up with John Goodman and Ving Rhames. Oh, and I forget who his other partner is. But I believe Patricia Arquette is in this too. And it is a dreamy, hypnotic, very, I believe it's also written by Paul Schrader. It's very Taxi Driver, but through the lens of being an ambulance driver. And I remember, in my first marriage, what's up, DB? In my first marriage, when we were coming to the conclusion of it, we went to go see Bringing Out the Dead, and I remember how that movie reflected back to me how I looked and how I felt, and how I think for both of us, we were both going through the ringer. I don't want to isolate myself and say that she wasn't experiencing that either, but both of us were just, it was a really, really hard time, and it was something about seeing this picture and seeing the reflection of myself on the big screen that really resonated and moved me, and that's why I keep it in this collection. It also has an image that's in the trailer that is also obviously in the film, but it's what got me into the movie theater, and it's this sequence where Nicolas Cage, in a dream sequence, is trying to save the lives of people he's lost, and they're buried in the concrete in New York. Like, it's a nighttime, shiny street, and there are people reaching up from inside the pavement, and Nick is trying to grab their hand and pull them back out and bring them back out of the death that was there. Intensely moving, funny, weary, like so many Martin Scorsese pictures, they're never just one thing. You can't just put it under drama. It's funny, and it's moving and it's action packed, and there are some incredible action sequences that you can imagine. I mean, it's ambulance driving, so it's like, it's wild. Bringing Out the Dead is great. All right, that concludes the B's. I will be getting into the C's starting tomorrow, just with a little teaser. Forget it, Jake. It's Chinatown. All right, I'm out. Talk to you later.